said. Let him go. I used to crumple like you said.
A Hoover High School student arrested for jaywalking and resisting arrest. I'm Alex Leonard, and tonight we talked to his friend who caught the arrest on camera.
You've probably noticed the sky looking a little hazy lately, and probably noticed the air is really not so great. Well, I'm Wendy Lane, and coming up, I'll tell you how the fires around the Central Valley are affecting our air quality.
Racing against the clock.
I didn't feel like spending the night outside.
Rescue crews work frantically to try to save a hiker suffering a stroke, and it's caught on camera.
Are you able to sit up?
And keeping your kids safe in schools.
She's here, yes, to keep us safe, yes, to help with a presence on campus.
The change is happening this year in Fresno. Those stories and more right now.
You're watching Fox 26. And now, the Fox 26 10 o'clock news.
I mean, like, I don't think anybody would just want to get down. Like, you want to know why we're going down. Like, nobody just comes out of nowhere and just listens to the cop.
A high school student not going down without a little bit of fight, resisting arrest against a Fresno police officer. And the struggle, you can see right there, caught on camera, now has tens of thousands of views. Good evening, I'm Gia Vang. Monty Torres is off tonight. Thanks for joining us. The incident happened Monday, and now the student who recorded that is speaking out. This, as Fresno police say, they're looking into it. Fox 26 News reporter Alex Leonard spoke with that student. Alex, he says this all started because his friend jaywalked.
That was just the start of it. Police say the student was jaywalking across First Street, going from Hoover High School just behind me, after being told several times not to. The officer then caught up with him in this parking lot, and police say he was just going to be ticketed for jaywalking, but then the situation took a turn and the camera started recording.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground!
You're watching cell phone video of a struggle between a Hoover High School student and a Fresno police officer. Police say the kid in the video ignored several orders not to jaywalk across First Street before officers caught up to him. Johnny Williams was with his friend KC before he crossed the street, ignoring the red light.
We kept walking because we didn't know who he was talking to. So he caught us again, but we didn't turn around. We kept walking. And what had happened, the cop had came up on my friend, grabbed him and told him to stop. And then he started grabbing him to his backpack, and that's when I started recording.
Do not roll! Get on the ground!
He kept recording for 2 minutes while the officer struggled to get the 16-year-old on the ground.
I don't think anybody would just want to get down. Like, he want to know why we're going down. Like, nobody just comes out of nowhere and just listens to the cop.
The video posted on Facebook has gone viral. Williams said he pulled out his camera because of the negative tone he's seen nationally when it comes to police and the public.
Because what I've been seeing is police brutality, so that's what I've been seeing. So, like, when I came in contact with a cop, I'm going to record it just for my safety.
There's always a concern when you see something on YouTube, a video that has your officer involved in a physical confrontation with someone. And there's also a concern because that video doesn't show the entire contact or the reason for the initial stop.
Dyer says KC was going to jaywalk. He says the officer warns KC twice.
The officer again told him to go back to the sidewalk and to wait for the light to turn green. And the individual looked at him, smiled, and continued to walk through the intersection.
Chief Dyer says in many cases, separate from this specific case, people are now recording encounters with police.
Our officers see that every day, multiple times a day, and people that are operating those cameras that are making comments to the officers, hoping to provoke a reaction.
Fresno police is investigating the incident.
He can't breathe!
And Casey was charged with obstruction of justice, battery, and jaywalking. Johnny was charged with obstruction of justice.
And Alex, I know in the raw video you can hear one of the students yelling that he would take this to court. Did he talk about that today?
Yeah, the person who actually was saying that in the video was Johnny, and he had mentioned today that right now they don't have any lawyers and they're not pursuing any active lawsuits, but in the future he's going to have potentially have his father look into that.
All right, Alex, we will be sure to follow this. Well, Chief Dyer says they will also look at the officer's body cam footage. He says Their investigation could take 2 to 3 weeks. Now, you can watch the entire raw interview with Williams on our Facebook page. And you can bet people have something to say about this video, and they shared their views on our Facebook page. We've gotten more than 2,000 comments, and most of them defending the officer. Kmph says all he has to do is comply and it will not escalate to where it did. Good job, officer. All lives matter. Dito Milian writes, perfect example of how to resist. It doesn't matter if you say you aren't. Jenna Nicole says, I would be so disappointed in my child if they acted in this manner. I hope their parents get a hold of them and teach them about authority and respect. But there were a few, like Samantha Creech, who writes, I believe both were in the wrong. The boy should have just done what the cops asked. The cop could have acted different himself. And Guy Jasso, he says in part, the cop was in the wrong. He was putting his hands on the kid before he was telling him to do anything. Those living in southern Tulare County are now getting ready to move at a moment's notice, and you can blame a very fast-moving wildfire for that. The so-called Cedar Fire is burning along Highway 155 south of Porterville. This is along the Kern and Tulare County line. It's grown from 4,000 acres to 9,500 acres. That's about 15 square miles. Kern County firefighters say the fire grew 5 times its size just today. They say it's only 5% surrounded. And smoke from that fire could be causing headaches for some people. That's because it's polluting our air. Fox 26 News reporter Wendy Lane continues our team coverage on this. She has a look at the smoke, and Wendy, we've seen it in the sky around us. So what's it doing to our air?
Yeah, Gia, so you probably noticed the bad air quality that's basically been around all summer because of fires like this one that keep popping around all around us. This one's southeast of Porterville, and it's causing a lot of smoke in the area and a lot to look at, as a lot of our viewers saw today. Notice the air quality looking a little hazy today? Well, you weren't the only one. A lot of our Team Fox 26 viewers noticed it too. Cheryl Vandemark sent us this photo of smoke above her home. Dominic Weisenberg also noticed the same smoky air.
Right now, the valley is currently being impacted by 3 forest fires. We have the Sobranos fire, the Chimney fire, and the newest one is the Cedar fire.
Most people in the South Valley near Porterville are seeing smoke in the sky, smoke like what Ray and Teresa Ramirez saw. James Ritzel caught this streak of smoke across the sky. Smoke like this that Joanna Isaiah shot, pouring into the Central Valley from fires surrounding it. Dr. Boz says with the smoke in the air like this right now, it doesn't matter how healthy you are, you're going to have problems from it.
Mostly, a lot of people will feel like a little headache, they feel a little heavy, they don't have that much energy at the end of the day.
It's disgusting. Lacey Berlin took video of the smoke over her home. This smoky scene that Kenneth Schroyer shot is mixing with the heat and making the air that looks a lot like clouds in Nicole Waters' area unhealthy for everyone. But it's the tiny particles from that smoke in the air that's making it so dangerous.
Particulate matter is the most dangerous. That's because it's super tiny, itty bitty little molecules that can get into your bloodstream, and it can cause asthma, emphysema. It wreaks havoc with people that have respiratory issues already.
Dr. Boz says when the air quality is unhealthy like this, that it's best to do workouts inside or at a gym. And if you are going to do activity outside, to avoid the afternoon and evening, specifically between 2 and 6 o'clock in the evening. Gia, he says if you're going to do activity outside, that it's best to do it very early in the morning.
All good advice that people should follow. All right, Wendy. And it is so nasty outside. The smoke from all those wildfires continue to pour into the valley tonight. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Raymer joins us with exactly where all the smoke is coming from and when we can expect for it to clear out of here. Kev, any good news?
Not until about Monday or Tuesday, it looks like, Gia. We do have 3 significant fires that are bringing lots of smoke into the valley. We have an air quality warning in effect for all of the valley. all the way down even into Bakersfield. This is until Monday morning, and here's why. We have 3 significant fires, 2 off to our southwest, 1 off to our southeast of the Fresno area, and that's helping to pour smoke right on into the valleys. We're watching a fire just east of Big Sur over in San Luis Obispo County, and then the Lake Nacimiento fire, the fire just south of the lake there. The smoke is blowing in an easterly direction right into the valley due to some low to mid-level winds coming off the ocean. And then off to our southeast, we're watching the Cedar Fire. This is the most significant one as far as bringing smoke right up into the Fresno metro area. We're getting wind from the other direction in the upper levels of the atmosphere, the east and southeast, and that's taking that smoke right on through Porterville and all the way on up into the Fresno area. Now, some good news. We have an upper level trough of low pressure, which will bring upper level winds out of the west, and it should start pushing all that smoke out of the valley. Hopefully by Monday. That's why the smoke advisory is in effect until Monday. But in the meantime, bad air quality, and we'll have that air quality forecast for you at 10:27.
We'll see you then, Kev. Firefighters in San Bernardino County say they are making progress on a massive wildfire there. They say as of tonight, the fire there is now 22% surrounded. The fire began yesterday and has already burned 49 square miles, or roughly 27,000 football fields. More than 1,500 firefighters are battling the blaze. There's also a lot of electrical and gas lines in the area.
All our families have evacuated. We plan on waiting for it to get to a certain trigger point. If we get a crown fire coming across to the west, at one point we have an escape route.
Thousands of people are being allowed back home tonight. At its peak, more than 82,000 people were evacuated. Firefighters are expecting to get somewhat of a break tomorrow when lighter winds and higher humidity is expected. People in Northern California are being allowed to return home, even though the fire burning near Clear Lake isn't out. The so-called Clayton fire has burned 4,000 acres, or about 6 square miles. More than 175 homes have been destroyed. The fire is 55% surrounded. Crews say they hope to have that fire out by Sunday. The man charged with setting that fire remains in jail tonight. Investigators say they think he set 17 of the fires. And the fire burning northwest of Paso Robles has grown to more than 11,000 acres, or roughly 8,300 football fields. More than 30 homes have been destroyed. Roughly 240 people are without power as a result of that fire. There are several evacuations. So far, that fire is 33% surrounded. We're told 2,300 firefighters from San Diego all the way to Lake Tahoe are battling that fire. All of these fires have plenty of people asking for help, but it all has the scammers out in full force as well. CAL FIRE says crooks are calling asking for donations for firefighters. Officials warn it is a scam. They are asking anyone who gets a call to get the name and number of the person calling. They are then asking you to call the San Luis Obispo DA's office at 805-781-5800. All right, who would run over a man in a wheelchair and then let him die? That's the question Fresno police are asking tonight. Police say the driver of this pickup that you can see in that picture right there hit 54-year-old Christopher Varela last night. It happened at the intersection of Blackstone and Clinton. Investigators say Varela was crossing the street when he was hit. The driver just took off. They say Varela is homeless. If you have any information about this hit and run, call Crime Stoppers 559-498-7867. Tomorrow is a very big night for our very own Kmph Sideropoulos. He'll be honored at the Fresno Grizzlies game as the team takes on the Omaha Storm Chasers. Remember, Kmph won the Fresno Famous contest, and Kmph will be throwing out the first pitch. Fox 26 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Raymer, you're here now, and you have a preview of the big night. And Kevin, there are still tickets available for people to come and root on Kmph and see him.
It's a great chance to come see a great guy. You know, people always ask me, they say, you know, is Kmph really like that, like he is on TV, nice and friendly in person? And I have to say, absolutely yes. I've known and worked with Kmph for almost 10 years now, and he's just as lovable in person as he is on television. So you want to come out tomorrow night and see him, take a look. It's going to be, of course, the first pitch for the game tomorrow night at Chuck Chansey Park will be at 7:05. Kmph's going to have his own designer Hawaiian-themed jersey on, the one that he designed himself.
Of course.
Yes, and it's a great opportunity to come out and meet Kmph, get some selfies taken, get some autographs. he loves this kind of stuff. He'll love talking to you, and it couldn't be happening to a nicer guy and a more well-deserved, wonderful, not only wonderful TV personality that we are so lucky to have here, but also just a very, very nice guy, wonderful friend too.
Yes, absolutely. He will. We always feel like there's clones of Kmph everywhere because he's making it to so many different events. You know, where I always say, Kmph, you're everywhere. There's 10 of you, but there's really only just one.
I laughed the other day. He was saying something to someone, and he said, "Oh, I'm just too shy." Kmph not shy.
No.
It'd be great to meet him.
So
folks go out and meet him. It's gonna
go
be fun.
out there and meet him. All right, Kev.
Yeah.
Well, Kmph isn't the only big thing being celebrated at the Grizzlies. Tonight was the annual Taco Truck Throwdown. Our own morning show anchor Justin Willis is one of the judges. So how did the tacos tempt his taste buds? Well, let's take a look.
Oh, yeah. I lost track already.
Okay, judges, anybody need one?
It's number 8.
Number 8?
I'm not going to remember. I can't wait to get in my mouth.
Yeah, once again, guys, we gotta pick up the pace a little.
Well, apparently so good he can't even talk. Well, this is the 6th year of the event, which now boasts 35 taco trucks. The event was expanded to H Street to deal with the long lines and waiting. The Grizzlies also changed their name for the night to the Fresno Tacos to celebrate this night. Yum. Coming up, a giant cocaine bust in Central and South America. So why are all those drugs now here in California? That story is at 10:21. The fight continues. Trump is now buying airtime while Clinton tries to get the support of top officers. What the polls for these major presidential candidates look like at 10:26. But first, a rescue like you've not seen before. A rescuer straps a GoPro on as he goes down to scoop up the hiker in trouble. See it and just how crews were able to find her. Next.
I'm going to need you guys to help me lift her up, and we're going to place her in here, okay?
While we normally see hiker rescues from the air, tonight we are seeing it from the ground. The Fresno County Sheriff's Department has released the body cam of its deputy. 66-year-old Tara Steele was hiking the Pacific Crest Trail at Brave Lake when she became ill. She was suffering a stroke. Steele activated her personal locator beacon and crews rushed to help her. The CHP flew the helicopter to her and dropped down a Fresno County deputy and his equipment, making this rescue pretty difficult. The location was 10,000 feet above sea level and in a heavily wooded area.
We were fighting the sunset. The last thing we were kind of planning on was like, all right, if we weren't able to get the victim out and then me out, I'd probably have to spend the night. So I was hustling pretty hard because I didn't feel like spending the night outside.
Yeah, different perspective right there. Once they got her out, the woman was flown to a downtown Fresno hospital. She is expected to make a full recovery. Crews say there was a moment of concern because of all the trees, but as you can see, everything went okay. The woman had an emergency GPS distress signal, as you just heard. It's something the California Highway Patrol says has helped them find and save the lives of several people lately. There are lots of different models out there that can help emergency and rescue crews find you at the click of a button. These portable GPS distress locators range between $100 and $200. 2 people accused of cashing stolen checks are now off the streets. 30-year-old Monique Munoz and 34-year-old Roman Ontiveros were arrested today. Police say they both were passing stolen and forged checks at several businesses in Visalia. They also say the two tried to open a loan with information stolen from another victim. They were arrested during a traffic stop near their home and later booked for burglary and ID fraud. Companies selling prescription drugs in California won't have to let you know that a price hike is coming. That's because a law that would have forced that won't go to a vote in the California Assembly. Drug companies spent more than $5 million to get lawmakers to change their minds. That apparently worked. The bill's sponsor pulled it. He said the chair of the Assembly Appropriations Committee made changes that watered the bill down and made it nearly worthless. That is Democrat Lorenza Gonzalez from San Diego. If you'd like to contact Gonzalez to let her know if you support her actions or oppose them, here's her number in Sacramento. You can reach her at 916-319-2080. More than 11 tons of cocaine are now in California. The drugs were seized off the coast of Central and South America. The busts happened back in June and July. The Coast Guard unloaded the cocaine today at Naval Air Base in San Diego today. Since last October, the Coast Guard has seized a total of 81 tons of cocaine and arrested 329 smugglers. Your child's safety at school. We'll show you how the biggest school district in the Central Valley is working to try to protect them at 10:33. ISIS supposedly turning to history to try to continue to wreak havoc. We'll tell you how the terror group plans involve items from Adolf Hitler's regime at 10:38. But first, the attacks just keep coming in this presidential election. We'll tell you why Clinton is trying to get the backing of law enforcement and why Trump isn't making it easy. Next. For the first time since getting the nomination, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump is doing something he hasn't done before. He's buying TV airtime in several key swing states. It comes as his Democratic rival Hillary Clinton is meeting with top law enforcement officials in New York City. As reporter Lauren Blanchard with our news partner Fox News explains, Trump is still behind in many polls.
I believe supporting our police officers and improving policing go hand in hand.
Hillary Clinton meeting today with law enforcement officials at a roundtable in New York City, a meeting the Clinton campaign says is not a response to Trump's effort to paint Clinton as anti-police, as he brands himself as the law and order candidate.
Everyone is safer when there is respect for the law and when everyone is respected by the law.
While Trump continues to attack Clinton, her campaign says they're letting Trump be Trump and instead focusing on expanding Clinton's lead. Across the board, national polls show the Democratic nominee ahead of Trump by an average of 6 points. That also goes for polls in a number of key battleground states. And with just 82 days left to go in the campaign, that's something analysts say the Trump campaign should be concerned about.
You can't find a national poll of any repute that doesn't say that Donald Trump is trailing, and they say the polls aren't true. That's what the Romney campaign said as well.
The Trump campaign appearing to catch on, announcing their first ever ad buy of the general election, spending $5 million over the next 10 days in 5 battleground states, including North Carolina, where the GOP nominee was campaigning earlier today. His running mate, meanwhile, rallying support in New Hampshire.
It's like 2-on-1 most days, with the media doing most of Hillary's work for her. And the great thing is, Donald Trump is still winning.
Trump's $5 million buy is significantly behind the nearly $75 million spent by the Clinton campaign since early June. Smoke from 3 major wildfires in our region are making for some very unhealthy local air quality. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Raymer joins us again with what's new in tomorrow's discouraging air quality forecast. Kev, not very good news.
No, not good news at all. Because of the smoke particulates in the air from all those wildfires, we have an air quality warning in effect until Monday morning for all of the valley. And according to Dr. Boz, the air quality forecast is for unhealthy conditions all across the valley for tomorrow. Now, the pollen levels remain unchanged. The main allergens, juniper and weeds, moderate. The mold count, moderate as well. Stick around. We'll have a 10-day forecast and let you know if it's going to cool off any. That's coming up at 10:39.
All right, Kev, we'll see you then. The civil war in Syria now has a new face, and its image is sparking lots of outrage. It's a picture that now has many around the world calling for peace. At 10:46, what the UN is doing to help those affected. But first, making schools safer for the upcoming year. You'll soon see more police officers in school buildings throughout Fresno. The other security changes you'll see next. More than 73,000 students headed back to campus at the largest school district in the Central Valley this week. But some of the latest additions to schools at Fresno Unified may go unnoticed. Fox 26 News reporter Liz Gonzalez shows us the increased security measures in place this fall.
Classes in session at schools across Fresno. You'll find some new faces in the crowd, but these are not students or staff.
She's here, yes, to keep us safe, yes, to help with a presence on campus.
For years, there have been officers in high schools, but this is the first year 15 Fresno police officers will be assigned to middle schools.
We live in a society that hasn't lived by the same norms that we used to like to live with
20 and 30 and 40 years ago.
Fresno Unified Superintendent Michael Hansen says the district and Fresno Police got a 3-year grant worth more than $1.2 million to fund the officers. They will work on campuses as well as neighboring areas.
Crime and things happen on weekends and very easily because students know officer on campus and officer knows who to talk to. A lot of crimes get solved much more quickly because of that relationship.
She's part of this larger system and philosophy on helping kids make better choices.
Along with adding officers, Fresno Unified has also put up more than 900 high-definition surveillance cameras to deter crime.
If you come to campus looking to steal a computer, we're going to have your face and you're not going to get away with it.
At Sequoia Middle School in Southeast Fresno, those cameras could be crucial to solving a crime that happened days ago. Crooks stole tens of thousands of dollars worth of copper from an air conditioning unit.
There are some neighborhood challenges here that we face that we have to be aware of. And we want our families to feel like their students are very safe on our campus and that this is an oasis within our community.
In Southeast Fresno, Liz Gonzalez, Fox 26 News.
Hansen says lighting has also been improved to make the campuses safer for students and their families late at night and early in the morning. And Fresno Unified School District Superintendent Michael Hansen and Fresno Police Chief Jerry Dyer will join us live on Great Day tomorrow to continue the discussion about what the district is doing to keep students safe. Tune in to Great Day from 5 to 10 a.m. We'll also have a look at what happened overnight, plus all the traffic and weather you need to get your day started. All right, like cheese, love it. Dare you to use it as cake filling. Some couples are doing that at their weddings. We'll take a look at this unique trend at 10:50. But first, ISIS and other terror groups are supposedly digging up World War II landmines and repurposing them for attacks. We'll take a look at what's being done to prevent this next. ISIS has said it would use any weapon at its disposal to carry out attacks. Now members have found more ammunition to add to their arsenal. Fox 26 News national correspondent Jeff Barnes tells us this weapon comes courtesy of Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime.
This is one of the Islamic State's newest weapons of choice. Landmines, mostly buried by the Nazis 75 years ago in the arid dunes of North Africa, are now being unearthed and used as improvised explosive devices by modern-day jihadists.
And they're paying very poor Bedouin Arabs to dig up these mines. It's believed there's up to 17 million just in northwestern Egypt left over from World War II.
In the early 1940s, the Nazis stormed across North Africa in their quest for world domination and buried millions of tons of these landmines to disrupt Allied advances.
In a little schoolhouse in Reims, France, came the unconditional surrender of Germany.
Since the German surrender in 1945, these landmines have been virtually dormant. That was until experts say ISIS lost roughly 20% of its land holdings in Iraq and Syria and advanced elsewhere to fight another day.
They're going to use the time that they have to export resources to places where they can be successful.
One of those places is in Libya and Egypt, where ISIS claim lawless land masses, likely the largest minefields on the planet. Coincidentally, ISIS and the Nazis share the same totalitarian ideology. Some analysts say that ISIS sees itself as a vanguard party leading in a global revolution, just as the Nazis did in the 1930s and 40s.
And here they are using old Nazi weapons to advance their new ideological jihad.
Egyptian military leaders say all mines should be disposed of by 2020, but experts say that's plenty of time for ISIS to pilfer 20th century mines to carry on with its 21st century mission. In Washington, I'm Jeff Barnes reporting.
Defense officials say just last spring, these old mines were used in an IED attack on a convoy that killed 5 soldiers in Egypt. Kevin Reamer's here now. Kev, outside it's just plain nasty when it comes to air quality. Is the weather going to help at all?
You know, sometimes this time of year we have really hot weather, but blue sky. Today the sky was almost white.
Oh, I know.
Just nasty out there. Yeah, very bad air quality on through the weekend. Here's an air quality warning due to all the wildfire smoke that's now getting trapped in our valley. This air quality warning is in effect until Monday morning. It covers all of the Central Valley, and here's why. We have 3 fires and they are continuing to pump smoke right up into the central part of the valley. We have the fire just east of the Big Sur over in San Luis Obispo County, the Lake Nacimiento fire, and that fire is just south of the lake, and all that smoke is blowing eastward right into the valley due to some low-level wind coming off the ocean. And then we have some upper-level wind out here over toward the Cedar fire southeast of Porterville, and that's pushing the smoke right back down into the Central Valley and up toward the Fresno area as well. In fact, the Fresno metro area and points south and east of Fresno, Hanford, Visalia, Delano, all these areas getting more of the smoke from this particular fire, the Cedar fire. Now, some good news, there's an upper-level low-pressure area dropping down parallel to the coast. By Monday, the upper-level wind in the higher part of the atmosphere should start taking this smoke and pushing it off to the east and start clearing things out for us as we head through midday Monday and Monday afternoon. So let's hope this computer model verifies, and that's exactly what happens. All right, here's a look at tonight and tomorrow in the mountains. 97, going to be a hot one at Yosemite National Park tomorrow. 85 at Shaver Lake. We're going to see 95 at Mariposa Bass Lake at 93 for tomorrow. North end of the valley, still going to see triple-digit numbers, mostly right around 101 and 102 for most locales, 98 for Oakhurst. And then around the south end of the valley, the same thing, 102 generally to 103 degrees. Hey, Kmph night at Chuck Chansey Park tomorrow night. Don't miss it. It is going to be a blast. It's going to be about 100 degrees at game time at 7:05, so dress accordingly. Grizzlies versus Omaha. We're going to give the weather a home run, though. Other than that temperature, it's going to be nice out there. And remember, you can see Kmph throughout the first pitch, take a selfie with Kmph, and get his autograph. And he's a fun-loving, wonderful person and just a nice guy. If you get the opportunity to meet him, do it. All right, areas of smoke tonight. 69 degrees across the metro, and we're going to look at more smoke again around tomorrow. Hazy sunshine, 102 degrees with all that smoke. West wind about 5 miles an hour. Here's a look at your 10-day forecast. The smoke continues on through the weekend, but as we head on into, say, Monday, looks like the smoke is going to start clearing out a little bit. 98 degrees, and we're going to see upper 90s as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, and then mid-90s by the end of the weekend. Log on to kmph.com for weather anytime. That time of year, we have to deal with this nasty smoke. Wildfires are going crazy.
Yeah, and if you don't have to go outside, don't.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Kev. Going to the extreme, what one artist has done that's causing some to blush when referring to Donald Trump. We'll show you that image that's shocking some at 10:59. But first, it's an image that some hope will stop the civil war in Syria. Why this video of a little boy is causing such outrage. What the UN is hoping to do next. Video of a 5-year-old boy hurt, confused, and covered in dust is drawing new attention to the civil war in Syria. The boy was injured in an airstrike, and as reporter Rich Edison from our news partner Fox News explains, the attack happened as the UN is calling for a pause in all this fighting.
Video of a stunned 5-year-old boy in Syria pulled from a destroyed building and sitting in an ambulance is now making global headlines, going viral on social media. The images were reportedly recorded Wednesday after the child was pulled from rubble in Aleppo following airstrikes. Meanwhile, for the third straight day, Russian warplanes flew from Iran to strike targets in Syria. Russia says the fighter jets hit ISIS targets including fuel, command, and ammunition facilities. And the United Nations is now calling for a new ceasefire in Syria to allow for humanitarian aid deliveries.
No humanitarian aid is reaching anywhere Syria at the moment.
The UN says no aid convoys have reached Syrian war zones since before August. U.S. officials announced Thursday Secretary of State John Kerry will meet next week with Russia's top diplomat to discuss the fighting in Syria.
We really believe it's important to get beyond temporary, ephemeral, and localized ceasefires. We're in a set of serious discussions right now with Russian counterparts about Aleppo specifically, but also about trying to get these proposals in place for a nationwide cessation of hostilities that can actually be enforced.
Also Thursday, Britain's Sky News broadcast images from inside Iran, showing graves of Iranians reportedly killed while fighting ISIS in Syria. Analysts say Sky's access to the graves in an Iranian national cemetery show a new willingness by Iran to discuss their involvement in Syria and support of its president, Bashar al-Assad. In Washington, Rich Edson, Fox News.
The UN says right now 2 million people in Syria lack access to clean water, creating a risk of disease there. Talk about a new take on cheesecake, what some are now serving up at weddings, and it's not exactly the sweet treat you're thinking. We'll show it to you next. Forget the sweet. More couples in one state are opting to have wedding cakes made of cheese. Reporter Carolyn Bach from our news partner WKOW in Madison, Wisconsin explains why couples are choosing this trendy new option.
Move over, cheesecake.
A lot of people are kind of taken back at first, like, is that made out of cheese?
It sure is. A cake of cheese.
Being in Wisconsin, if you're going to serve cheese, we want to do it kind of the unconventional way.
From wheels of brie and Gouda to certain types of cheddar and blue.
So there are definitely some die-hard cheese fans.
Ken Monteleone, owner of Madison's Fromagination, started making the cakes of cheese a couple years back. Now their popularity is taking off.
People come in wanting cheese for their special occasion, weddings. So the more we started thinking about it, we said, why not do something that creates a memorable moment for that special day?
The idea seems to have originated in England, but now it's found its way to the U.S. and appropriately to Wisconsin.
Having a cake of cheese to showcase Wisconsin has been a nice addition to create that memorable moment.
Welcome to sports. I'm Nick King. Ralph Wood is in Scranton, Pennsylvania, accepting a Dundie Award for Best Boss. If you want to see a whole bunch of happy people in downtown Fresno, go see the Grizzlies on Taco Truck Throwdown Night. As we mentioned earlier in the newscast, 35 trucks in and around Chancey Park tonight, and an attendance of 14,651, second largest ever, behind only last year's Throwdown. El Premio Mayor won Judges and People's Choice for the second year in a row. And the Grizz, rocking those colorful new taco unis, they made it a late night, winning on a walk-off from Colin Moran in 11 innings. Not seen here. 2-1 was the final. Dodgers looking for a sweep in Philly tonight. Now they're going to go up 4-1 in the fourth when Yasmani Grandal hits it a country mile. My goodness. Grandal's 20th of the year, but the Phils battle back and down a run in the seventh with a man on. Oh boy. Maikel Franco hitting, Grant Dayton surrendering. 5-4 holds as the final. So chance for the Giants to get back within a half game. And look at the runs here. They're already up 8-7 in the eighth when Buster Posey doubles off the wall. That'll score 2. San Francisco coming back after Madison Bumgarner allowed 4 early runs. They scored 8 off Jacob deGrom, and wait for the smile from Bruce Bochy here. They needed this for mental health, ending a 4-game losing streak. Week 2 of the NFL preseason, Derek Carr and the Raiders in Green Bay. How about DC fitting it in a window here to Amari Cooper for 20 yards on 3rd and long. That led to a field goal on their first drive. Carr's old Bulldog buddy Devontae Adams had a pair of tough grabs for the Packers. That one for 31 yards. I'm thinking Adams going to have a big bounce back year. Carr did have an interception when Cooper kind of gave up on a ball in the second quarter. Oakland's first-team offense played the whole first half and managed just 74 yards. Another young former Dog made a play defensively tonight. Deron Smith. Now the backup free safety for the Bengals, jumping the route for the interception and making it a pick 6. A little bit like against USC in the Las Vegas Bowl 3 years ago. Locally, the high schoolers getting that prep work in tonight. Scrimmages all over the valley, including here at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Clovis, Fresno High, and Clovis North. Tell you what, both those offenses looking in mid-season form. Derek Quintero here for the Broncos. It gets real in 7 days. That's the start of week 0. Can't wait. Good time to remind you, Friday Night Rivals is back this fall. 10 high school games broadcast live on the CW59 with the incomparable broadcast team of Ralph Wood, Vince Wesson, and Kevin Miller. First TV game September 9th with defending state champion Hanford at Madeira. Finally, the Ryan Lochte robbery story in Brazil getting less and less humorous. To recap, Monday, the decorated American swimmer said he and his 3 U.S. teammates were robbed at gunpoint at a gas station in Rio. Yesterday, 2 of those swimmers were pulled off a plane, detained by Brazilian police for questioning. Today, police said Lochte's story is just not true. Showing surveillance video, the police say the swimmers vandalized the bathroom on the side of this gas station, and employees sent security guards to confront them as they got back in their taxi to leave. The United States Olympic Committee says the security guards showed their weapons and demanded money. The athletes paid and went on their way. Lochte's been back in the U.S., but the other 3 swimmers were still in Rio today and have been interviewed by police. Police say there could still be charges. On a happier Olympic note, a more entertaining Olympic note, Usain Bolt won again tonight in the 200. He's now 8 for 8 in gold medals in running. He is the most breathtaking athlete I think I've ever seen. His races are just a treat to watch.
Starts off slow, ends real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
All right, Nick. We'll see you after the break. Finally tonight, we've seen many sides of Donald Trump, but nothing like this. Naked statues of the billionaire businessman are popping up across the country, including LA and San Francisco, each weighing 80 pounds, showing him in a very unique way, to say the least.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys tomorrow night.